I have to record all meetings
Oh, okay.
for the YouTube channel, just an FYI.
Progress.
Do you have to hit continue on that?
I
Yes.
think so, yeah.
On the screen, it says continue or leave.
Yes, please hit continue.
Okay, I hit continue.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, for posterity. Well, welcome, everybody. It's 2:06. We'll call the meeting to order, and I'll try one last time. Mary Lou? Sandy? Okay, and I know Karen cannot make it on Mondays. So welcome. We had an interesting weekend. It's kind of a only in New England weather weekend. On Saturday, my wife pulled the chair up to the front porch. We're sitting out there for about an hour reading magazines. I took my daughter to the Dairy Queen in Hanover, and we were outside on the patio tables outside eating sundaes. It was beautiful out there. It was at low 60s. And then on Sunday and Monday, today, we were shoveling. So I guess that's definitely only in New England moments. We have announcements and holiday closings. Emily?
So we'll be closed Monday for President's Day. And we'll reopen that Tuesday. And the town manager published updated emergency policy. So I just wanted to read the latest and greatest safety precautions to everybody. So the following precautions will be taking place effective through the end of March 31st, 2022. All non-public safety offices. The mask mandate has been lifted, except patrons to the Bridgewater Library and the Bridgewater Senior Center will be required to wear masks while inside these buildings and interacting with others. This provision shall be effective through February 18th versus the rest of the town buildings are, the mask mandate has been lifted today. Sorry about that. Unless some other kind of an emergency order has been released between now and then, the mask mandate for all patrons here in this building will be lifted. And I'm going to try to keep the office, though, a little more closed to the public because what's been happening, people can't hear when they're on the phone talking about private sensitive matters to each other. So we'll have the public kind of pushed out towards the lobby area. But there is no mask mandate at the library and senior center after the 18th. So just an FYI. The numbers are getting better. It's a good thing. The COVID cases.
Hey, Emily. Emily.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah. Tell Gloria to smile once in a while. She looks mad.
Thank you, Nick. Wow.
Emily, are you back to being able to have as many people as we can in the classes, or is that still limited?
No limits on that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Very excited to bring back the senior lunch program too, and back in March. We closed it March 2020.
Great
2
news.
years later.
That's 2 years, exactly 2 years.
So does this mean that our next meeting will be live at the senior center?
The remote meetings will be through the end of March.
Okay, so the next one will be also Zoom.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Correct. All members of the public will post the Zoom link just like we do on the website, the newsletter, and then the town agenda, the EAC agenda.
Okay.
And then we'll see about April.
Next thing on the agenda is subcommittee report. In January meeting, we spoke about moving possibly forward with a spring volunteer cleanup program. This would entail cleaning yards at individual residential senior homes in Bridgewater. The work would be completed by volunteers. Before I get into more details, it's kind of an interesting Facebook story. I was browsing Facebook yesterday, and a woman, Mary Phelan, and I'm mentioning her name because she put it out there on Facebook, and she said she's a senior, she's disabled, she's on a fixed income, and she posted she would like someone to help her with yard work. She wants to cut her grass every 2 weeks, and she needs a spring cleanup, and she was looking for someone to help out. One of the responses, interestingly enough, stated, why don't you get in touch with the senior center? She said that maybe high school kid volunteers through them could help. So people are out there, they're looking for help, and they're struggling to get ends together to be able to financially pay for it. A little bit more details. Karen Aker has been following up directly with BSU more than several times. 2 challenges brought up by Karen. The spring schedule of volunteers at BSU is already pretty full. So there's not that many volunteers to be had at this point. The project would also require the senior center to provide supplies for cleanup because they wouldn't do it. They also stated they had the volunteer program at BSU had an identical request directly from the senior center. So they were a little confused about that. So I wasn't sure, about that one, but she said that, they had 2 requests anyways, Karen. And I was wondering, I can't remember who we said was going to do it, but we had talked at the last meeting that someone was going to contact Bridgewater High School to find out about student volunteers. Does anyone remember who stated that they would do that? No. Well, we can look into that. So things I can do, I can get volunteer lawn care services to remove bags of debris as necessary, or we can get volunteers from the senior center with trucks. So we can take care of that. But I guess I'm throwing it out to you guys. It's going to be hard to work with the college because they don't have volunteers readily available now. It's just something we want to go forward with. Do we want to follow up with the high school, or do you find it's going to be too much work and too much inconvenience? What do people think?
The high school requires the seniors to do so much service for their graduation and stuff. Their
Right. So you think it's a good idea?
Definitely to check into it. Yeah.
Okay, good. How about anyone else? What do you other guys think?
I think it'd be good to take, ask the high school kids, especially where the summer's gonna be coming up, maybe some kids have free time that they can put, Emily, their name or something when they're available.
Is there anyone that would be interested in contacting the high school and finding out how we would work with them and through the senior center to get volunteers that would, could work with us to do some lawn cleanups?
You're looking for someone to do that?
Yes.
Okay. I have a lot going on, but I'll try.
Okay, well, that's very appreciated. Thank you.
David,
Yes.
just a couple of things on that. Interestingly enough, when we were coming into the airport last week, I talked to the limo driver, and his
Yes.
son is available and willing to go to the senior center to, to people's houses to clean off cars. So it's just a question of talking to people. And I think it can make a lot of contacts if you do that. The other thing I was thinking, we got 3 Lions clubs in town.
Okay.
Who do service projects, and someone approach one or all of them, we might be able to find some volunteers coming through there too. So they're usually pretty good at that.
So Lions Club, would you be interested in following up with the Lions Club, Doug?
Sure. Yep.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Okay, so at this point, we have several people that thought it was a good idea. Robin's going to follow up with the high school to see if we can get volunteers through the high school. Doug, you're going to follow up with the Lions Club. Does anyone else have any ideas or suggestions?
Just to clarify, you're looking for volunteer, this is a volunteer recruitment program for yard waste.
Correct, correct.
Cool.
And it's going
Yeah,
to be.
Courtney, I'm sure would be. We've had a lot of middle schoolers who have been reaching out. We have one here today.
Wonderful.
And he's very kind. He's doing great. So there is work to be had. Just the transportation can be a barrier because they
Right.
rely on their parents who work.
And that would be the case in a lot of, middle schools, most certainly. Yeah, no, that's really good. And the criteria would be, we're looking to help seniors that live in Bridgewater only.
David,
Yes.
hey, another one is the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts. They're always having things that in the paper with things they'd be doing. What the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts? If somebody knows, somebody can reach out to them.
That's another good idea. Yeah, I'd be happy to follow up with that. Unless you would like to, Nick?
No.
Yeah, okay. I'll be happy to follow up on that. Great. Anyone else? I had an idea that I kind of went over with Emily, and I don't know where we would go with this program, but I kind of tried a grab bag program on my bistro customers for 2 weeks in a row. And basically what it was, I bought $20 worth of snacks at Dollar Tree, mixed nuts, candy, cookies, popcorn, etc. There was some old-fashioned stuff that I like, Twinkies and stuff like that. I put them in a bag, and I asked the folks I was delivering to pick out what they wanted for their snack. And the reason I did this is I usually deliver to 10 to 12 people in my bistro delivery. And some of the people, they're always willing and able to talk and have a great conversation. But there's a couple people, the one in particular that was newer. And when I bring the food, she just takes it, says thank you. And it's hard to get a conversation going. So I thought this would be a great way to open conversation and have people spend a little time. And it actually worked really, really well. There was, like I said, at least a dozen items in the bag at one time. And, it was a big decision, what item to pick. Oh, I haven't seen that. One of them was ginger snap cookies in the original bag that I can remember from 50 years ago. And I had a couple people pick that, or Cracker Jacks was real popular, the 3-pack Cracker Jacks. And, they're all excited about that. Then they started talking, oh, I used to like this when I was a kid. And it really opened up the avenue of conversation, more so than just delivering the meal and saying hi and bye. And, I two things I learned. Number one, all the snacks I picked were kind of, I guess, what you'd call junk foods. There wasn't anything healthy in there whatsoever. So in talking with Emily, I said, stuff I could pick, or we could pick and do that in the future. We could do like pudding cups or applesauce cups, little fruit cups, those 4-packs, same price, and they're a lot healthier. It was really very much fun in that, everyone took a couple minutes to make their decision, and there really was a lot of conversation. But I'm not sure how we would incorporate this. And I guess I would ask Emily, is there a way we could do some fun ideas like this to, open up communication with people that maybe don't talk that much or, don't have the opportunity to open up?
I think it's a great idea. I could see Meals on Wheels drivers handing them out too.
Right.
Okay.
As a little extra treat. And we
Yeah.
have room in the budget to purchase some items for the most
That would be fun.
vulnerable and lonely.
I mean, sometimes we could even think of when we have a program at the senior center, doing a grab bag like that and have people, now that it's opening up again with COVID getting better, maybe we could have, more interpersonal time like that, even at the senior center on occasion. But, I'll see what we could do with it. So thank you.
Any takers on the seaweed snacks I gave you?
I tried it, and
Be
I'm
honest.
glad I tried it once. What did you think about it?
I love seaweed.
I actually like seaweed at a Thai restaurant, but it's different, like a seaweed salad or something. It's a little different consistency. But anyways, it's always worth trying once.
I think it's a great idea. You started something good, because you're right. People aren't always, you say, how do you do? How are things? Oh, fine, fine. And that's it, silence. But if you give them an option for a pudding or a seaweed, it opens the door to something different that, shy people could be more open to talk about or whatever.
Exactly. And if you
Opens the door
get
to like memories too. That's what it does.
Yeah.
well, see,
Especially,
that's what it was.
right.
The Twinkies, the Cracker Jacks, all the stuff that I remember from, I hate to say it, but 55, 60 years
I can
ago.
say it.
And no, it just brings back happy memories. And, I would get Twinkie. That was my go-to treat when I was 7 years old. So here I am 60 years later. And it's kind of cool that they still make them and it's still available. And people say that. Emily, the next thing I just want to, it's not really under entertainment, but I guess it kind of is in a way, is the portico / pergola. Have you gotten any more updates in regard to that?
No, I haven't gotten any updates. I've requested updates. And I've gotten nothing back yet, but nothing on the portico, but for the French door project, another building improvement project, the doors came in. So something is happening, but I know Chris is with the storms, the recent weather. He's been pretty busy, but I'm sure he has something coming up for us.
I just want to say the reason I even got that blueprint to send out to everyone, I ran into Chris at the senior center, and he was nice enough to send me a copy, and I just forwarded it to everyone at that point. And he's hoping to hear more information soon. And I hope we get more information to share.
Seemed like they were in such a rush to make that decision, and then it just kind of died out.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. And I did ask them, and the one concern I would have that I shared with Emily, I asked them, how is this going to affect us getting the job done? Is the school going to move on to someone else? And he said it could happen. I don't know. Couple other quick things. We were talking, Emily brought up about having the Elder Fair Commission election of members to the positions of chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. And I talked with Emily earlier, or I guess last week, and we are going to hold off and do it in March. So on the very next meeting, that will be on the agenda. And last thing I had for the entertainment subcommittee, one of our great members on my subcommittee was Regina, who through moving to Middleborough was no longer able to be on the committee. And I was wondering if anyone else would like to join in on the subcommittee so we could have, it's myself, Nick, and I'd like to have at least one more person that'd be interested.
I thought I was on that too.
What's that?
I thought I was on that too.
Oh, I'm not sure. If you are, that's great. Robin, Nick, is there anyone else here who would be interested? And it's not too time consuming. We just talk every so often. Okay, well, we'll go with that for now. And that's all I have, Emily.
Deb, you're on mute.
The next thing is the treasurer's report, Gloria.
Hi, everyone. Oh, and just as an aside, Nick, if you had been here today, you'd have seen me do the Charleston. So you missed out. So, all right. I think Emily was going to send attachments to everyone. So there's a wonderful attachment for all of you. It's the Howard Foundation grant expenses for all of the past year. And I think it would be good for all of you to see just how that money was spent. So she will forward that to all of you if she has not. And it's a great overview. So, and as you know, we've reapplied for that grant. And so we're waiting check usually comes sometime in February or March, and we never know the amount until it's actually here. So fingers crossed on that one.
There's looking at it now.
Okay.
You can see each month we spend, it's for primarily the large events like barbecues, Valentine's Day, July 4th, Independence Day, and 2020 calendar year 2021, we spent almost $12,000. So you'll get a copy of this emailed out. Just an FYI of how we spend the grant money.
Awesome, Emily. Thank you.
All right, all set. And then we have the, the monthly report with the balances and what the expenses were. And there's also another handout for you. So for example, let's see, if we spent, let me see, the revolving fund, $300. Well, then the other handout will show you exactly what that $300 was. So we have them broken down by Howard, revolving, miscellaneous, and nutrition. And this is great for you to see exactly how those amounts were spent. And I think that'll give everyone a clearer view of how we got to the balances that we have in this month's report.
So every month you'll see where we spent the money. So Howard, the revolving fund, miscellaneous donations, nutrition. And we didn't spend any money from the needy senior account, but we're going to add a little revenue account at the bottom. We received a donation of $1,000 for needy seniors.
Wow.
So that was really nice.
And that's all I have. That's a sum up, and I think it'll make everything clearer for everyone. I think it's nice to have it in black and white in front of you, that way there you can digest it. And if you have any questions, we can deal with them at the next meeting. That's all I have.
Anyone have any questions for either Gloria or Emily in regard to the treasurer's report? No. The next thing is the director's report. Emily?
Just a quick comment to Gloria, all the work she's been doing. We've had the treasurer's report position vacant for quite some time. For those who have been on this commission for a long time, know it was vacant for, well, I've been here a little over 2 years, so a long time.
Right.
So I think she's done a great job with reporting and identifying, how does the senior center spend the money, but also what is the need? Where are the gaps? Do we need to do any more outreach, fundraising, more parties?
Right.
What do we need to do? So I think she's done a really great job with that.
We're adding as we go, and like Emily said, adding the revenue part, that will be interesting for all of you too, to see, like, for example, everyone on the committee should know that we got that $1,000 donation. And then we take in money for fees for the programs that we run. And so it's important that you see, because not all programs are successful. So we try them out, hold on to them if we can, but if it's not beneficial, then we have to walk away from them. So I think all of that is good info for you to have as the committee.
An example of that is Ballroom Dancing. We started that in January as a trial because a few folks have asked for the class, and one person participates each week. So the instructor fee she gets paid regardless of it's 0 or 1 participants per class. But if one person participating is all for the 6 weeks that we've been having it, and we advertise through word of mouth, the newsletter, the website, and social media, then we're going to drop the class. There's just no interest at this time.
Right.
It could change in warmer weather,
Right.
but we're still in COVID. People are still afraid to come in the building, or they're just not available because they're either taking care of grandkids, they went back to work part-time, various reasons, but that was not a winner, sadly.
Emily, I had a quick question. How would anyone know about the needy senior account to do a donation directly to that account?
Usually word of mouth.
Okay.
People donate here quite a bit, and we ask, what account would you like your donation to go into? And usually they say nutrition, they do it in honor of somebody for their lunch
Right.
program. Or we have a couple of donors, they donate $20 every month to pay for somebody's bistro lunch.
That's really nice.
And this person just in conversation said, well, I'm going to pay it back. You guys take care of so many, and I was taking care of all my life, and he's retired. So he's paying it forward to another person. Or
That's
people.
really awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up, but Emily and I had talked about building a rain garden for the garden club people. And we found a pretty nice model for one that requires a kit that has to be purchased and lumber to be purchased. And I would do the labor to put it together, but that would be an expense. And I'm not sure if that's something to bring up now or not.
Sure. A part of my stupidity, but what exactly is a rain garden? 'Cause I'm not familiar.
It's a raised kind of garden that it doesn't have to be raised, but it's for this particular model is raised so you can get to it more easily rather than having to kneel down. But it takes drainage from the rain spout.
Okay.
And uses that drainage to basically to provide the irrigation for it. Oh, there you go. Great.
That's nice.
Thanks, Emily.
Welcome.
Oh, that's cool.
And there are the kits for these things come with all the plans and the non-lumber parts to put it together. Plus, it gives you a list of the lumber that you need to be able to put it together. And it comes in 2 different sizes and 2 different recommendations for type of lumber. And depending on the size you get and depending on what lumber you get and which kit you get, it costs anywhere from around $700 or $800 to maybe $2,000. So the largest one, in other words, made out of cedar, the kit and the parts would cost about close to $2,000.
Rich, where on the senior center would the garden go?
Yeah, that's up to Emily and the garden folks, I guess.
A spot in the back was identified by Jean Guarino, who's on the garden club. She's the one who started this great idea. And she said in the back, right by the Meals on Wheels door, there's 2 drains, 2, gutters that go to the floor. And there's just rocks along the back wall of the senior center. And it would get sunlight and it would get water through this. So.
Now, Rich, would your intention be that you'd have volunteer seniors come and weed it and do the work to maintain it?
Well, as the garden club would
The garden club
do
would
that.
be doing.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Good. The next thing we have, director's report. Emily?
So do we have some
Oh.
kind of approval to go ahead with that? That's kind of what I'm asking.
Not yet. I think we need to have a conversation with the garden club, but the garden club is very much on board with beautifying. We're actually on their list this spring to re-beautify the senior center. So that, I know, right? They've taken care of the grounds here. Don't quote me on this, but for at least 10 to 15 years. And because of COVID, we kind of put everything on hold. And now that we're getting back and we're in the springtime, they want to come. Jean Guarino and Gina Guasconi and I met 2 weeks ago, right where the portico is going. They'll be the ones to dig up the, Sandy, sorry, Sandy's here too. To dig up there's all kinds of varieties in the ground
Plantings
and
in the
replant them. Sandy, do you want to say anything? Sorry, I forgot you were here.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I like the idea of the rain garden, Rich. I think that would be nice. And right where Jean suggested it go, it just goes down into the ground. So we might as well, we could plant edible things there too, to incorporate in the kitchen and that sort of thing. Yes, when all the shrubs and the bulbs, there are so many bulbs planted around the building itself. We'd like to see how many we could retain and plant somewhere else there on the grounds. So when that becomes a reality, we'll have all hands on deck to put them somewhere else there in the grounds.
Sandy, do you have to dig them up before they start growing again for the season? Is there a time frame?
Not necessarily. It would be best if we could, but even if they were just poking their little heads through the earth, we could. It would be a good time to
Oh, good.
move them. Yeah, yeah.
Good.
There's really no bad time
Oh, okay.
except hot summer.
Yeah. Good.
Can anybody hear my parakeets?
I cannot.
Oh, they have not stopped. They must be hearing all the chatter. And they're chattering back.
That's funny.
That's funny. Emily, do you have the director's report?
Yep. So Courtney, new staff, she's done very well. She's been with us about a month now. She's our new community wellness and volunteer coordinator. She's, baptism by fire. She's out there having fun. She led a class, her first program last week, where it was kind of like a meet and greet with the community, and she had 5 people. Again, our numbers are low because of COVID, but I think that they'll slowly, once the warmer weather happens to be they'll come back. But she's doing really great. I kind of am passing on lots of responsibilities to her, which is good because there's always something else cooking, and she's not overwhelmed. She's doing really well. Donna Heaney is another. She's not a staff person for the community, but she's with Old Colony Elder Services. She's our new meal site coordinator, and we're very excited to have her on board. I believe it's the first in at least 15 years since we've had this position, not under the Council on Aging budget. And the role of it is working out so smoothly so far. So this person is hired by Old Colony Elder Services. They communicate with the drivers delivering Meals on Wheels. So we coordinate the volunteers, they coordinate the meals. So doing the counts, making sure everybody gets their meals. If we're short a driver, she'll go out into the community, and she's also a Bridgewater resident, which is great. She'll deliver the meals if we're shorthanded for volunteers. She's very kind, very approachable. She's got a great sense of humor. But the other piece that she'll be putting together is we'll be having our senior lunch program return through Old Colony Elder Services on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, starting in March in the building. And she is responsible for ordering the food. This is all through Old Colony Elder Services. It gets delivered on these trays. Sometimes it's delivered hot. Sometimes it's delivered cold, and she needs to reheat it in the oven, depending on the meal. And she'll be, getting the word out for our senior lunch program. We've been doing the bistro home cooked meal the entire time, which is just astounding, the numbers that Robin and Regina have been doing, and with the Rich and Dave and everybody delivering the meals. That will continue because still there is a fear of eating inside the building here, but it's great because it gives more choice. So people can come in the building, have lunch together, or they can sign up for the $5 per meal bistro lunch to be delivered. I think that Robin, Regina, and I need to have a conversation about having bistro served hot in the building on Wednesdays, maybe. But we'll get there. We're not there yet. The senior lunch program on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Donna has coordinated a special breakfast. So we're going to have the men's breakfast return on that date. So sorry, ladies, this St. Patrick's Day breakfast will be for the men. But we'll have a boiled dinner. Don't worry. We'll have that for everybody for lunch. But she's ordered, the menu is kind of incredible. It's bacon and sausage and French toast and omelets and a fruit cup. So I think it's important if we all get rid of the mentality that Meals on Wheels in the building isn't good. We're going to do it differently because that's what we like to do around here. In case you haven't noticed, we're gonna, put a garnish on the plate, make it a very welcoming environment. If there's no fruit or a healthy option for lunch, then maybe we can have a little sandwich available for people. But we're gonna try to get people back socializing together, because we all know it's really good for the brain and the heart and the soul. And but we're gonna do it more like a cafe style, I think. Instead of you have to be here at 11:30, you sit at your assigned table or pick a seat kind of thing. Have it open hours from like 9 to 11:30. People can come, have something to eat, go home. Or if they want to sit at a table with their girlfriend, have a cup of coffee and a muffin or something, they can do that and then go home. Have it open hours, more like a cafe, almost like a Barnes and Noble type environment. That's what the community is really looking for, instead of a formal lunch every day. But I think, there are people really looking forward to having the big Valentine's Day lunches we used to have, or the St. Patrick's Day where there's 100 people, dressed in green, having a boiled dinner. We'll get back there, but if we slowly go into it, I think the community will be a little more apt to coming in. And March is Nutrition Awareness Month, so better way to do it than then. So the nutrition programs are going great. You'll see also in the newsletter, the menu for each week. We'll have a whole dedicated page for bistro, and then the in-person, we'll call it the cafe lunches. So people can choose, because not everybody wants to come every day, but depending on the entree, they may. Staff are doing great. There's an end of the year report. I just wanted to show everybody. Share my screen. Every fiscal year, we report to the state what we've been doing. So you'll all get a copy of this. It's from July 1st through 2020 through June 30th, 2021. And it gives really important data on, large program highlights that we did, like the reunion project, the transportation grant that we had. So there's a narrative, and then there's numbers, data. So you can see for outreach, and this isn't just through Kathy Hayes, the outreach coordinator, this is through every staff person as a department, what we've done. And I believe Michael Dutton is sharing this with town council, which is good, because it's nice to show them what kind of work we're doing here. How many outreach inquiries, case management, professional services, how we connect people to our town department is all in this report. And I just thought it was interesting to share with you guys. How many meals did we deliver? 16,000. Like, it's good stuff. Yeah. And we do serve the under 60 population, not a whole lot, but we do, with family assistance and looks like just general questions. Volunteers. It's lots of neat data in here. So I'll send that to everyone. Oh, the SAVE committee. So this year, the SAVE committee was revamped. The Senior Tax Volunteer Program was revamped a little bit. So all inquiries, instead of coming to the senior center, will be going to HR. So we've received 15 applicants for this round, and we forward them over to HR. So that's, they'll be running the Corey background checks on everybody, having the SAVE volunteer complete all of the tax reporting paperwork, and approving them for each town department. And 15 people to apply to the senior center is the highest yet. So there is a need. Between Ann, Courtney, and I, we've been putting together job descriptions between the pickleball courts. So we have a new position for that. We have, with the community dining program returning, We have a new job description for a nutrition aide. We have a community liaison aide. So that person is responsible for getting things out into the community, whether it be a meal or depends, or a newsletter, or a person. And then the last position is the receptionist position, and that's the biggest one. So we have a a part-time receptionist save volunteer position here, Monday through Friday. We have 2 shifts, so in the morning and the afternoon. So that's great that we're able to provide those different opportunities for the community here. And it's very fair and consistent.
Emily, question?
Hi.
Hi, current SAVE volunteers, do they have to reapply?
They do, yes. So we've given all of the previous year volunteers to HR. So HR should be contacting each person.
Thank you.
I think that we'll have to show our patience because the new HR representative is brand new. So she's kind of figuring it out. She's got a lot of work ahead of her, but between the senior center, the clerk's office, and the police department, and the assessor's office, those are the 4 town departments that utilize these volunteers the most. So she'll have her hands full, but she's very good.
Emily, am I correct in assuming that that SAVE program's only like 100 hours a year?
Correct. Yep, depending on minimum wage.
So theoretically, we could get one person to work 2 hours a week or something every week, right? I mean, 2 hours a day.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, most of our SAVE volunteers, they're only here from 9 to 12 once a week.
Yeah,
Because that's their time, that's their availability. And it works out very well because we can have more people part of the program that way, because the program runs from January through November. So you have, 10 months to get your hours in.
Good, very good.
Yeah, it's a lifeline for a lot of folks. Takes the burden off their taxes and gives them purpose, and they get to use their skill sets and teach us a thing or two. They do.
Just a question about pickleball. Do we have, actually a couple questions. Do people have to bring their own equipment and come with their own partners, or do we have any kind of equipment for lending and a way of matching up people, scheduling and that sort of thing?
I am very happy you asked, Rich. So
Okay.
I put together a document I wanted to share with everybody because we'll be on the agenda for the next Rec Commission meeting, March 7th at 7 p.m. And it's a public meeting, so anybody is invited to participate. But I wanted, and I'll be sending this to everybody to get your feedback. But I have questions just like you. Where do we redirect people with pickleball questions? Well, I think we should ask them to share with us what they're thinking. So what I think is a good idea is when we participate in the Rec Commission meeting is to ask for public learning sessions each Tuesday here at the center from 1 to 2. It's a good time slot because there's not much going on, so we'll have space in case we get 50 people interested. But if we start March 22nd, that's a little over a month away, or maybe even sooner. It will answer questions like that. Because it's such a popular sport, we want to get those questions answered. And Charlie Simons, the rec director, will be retiring early March. So if he's not available to answer those questions, and I think they'll be hiring somebody very soon, it would be good to, have experts talking about that. How do you get a racket? Should I buy a racket versus will you give me one? When are the lessons? So I put together just some considerations for the commission and the new director to make when they're offering this activity, because it's an intergenerational activity and you want to make it as inclusive as possible for everybody. And so this is what I think would be a good idea, to make sure that the courts are as inclusive as possible. So people with physical disabilities, can they get into the courts and have a good time, just as much as someone without a physical disability, or somebody with a cognitive impairment like dementia, or if somebody had a brain injury and they want to try the sport. Is it set up for them to play successfully so they can continue to play just as if someone without dementia were playing? So like making minor changes like the entrance color, making it a different contrasting color than the fencing is a suggestion. Having large font signage. There's no signage yet. They're putting things together, but it would be nice if the signage were large so people with visual impairments could see it okay, and have it in a prominent location so they're not confused about where to park, where to go. Having them promote the intergenerational play for all skill levels. So the expert to beginners, I think there is their intent, but to have that noticeable, so, you know, so all people can play is important. Have it be for all ages. When will be the open senior lessons is one of the questions, but basically to make it an inclusive area. I'm just reading off of this, that includes, you know, the environment surrounding the senior center and all of the travel corridors, you know, the road coming up, people coming from the Conant Center or the veterinarian clinic who want to participate, but they're walking, you know, have it as accessible as possible. And the Mass Department of Transportation actually just posted brand new recommendations to make it a dementia-friendly design. So it's called Shared Streets and Spaces, is basically what this area is turning into, which is kind of exciting. So you have the senior center, and then you have pickleball, and you have a Conant Health Center with a daycare and, you know, lots of first aid classes and health-related events. And you have a brand new school coming in right behind all of this. So this is a really intergenerational area now. But having that, again, as accessible as possible is going to be really important. So nobody gets hurt and people feel safe.
Plus,
And
it's an investment for people to buy equipment and balls. And I think for someone who doesn't know yet whether they want to even do it, but might want to try it out, there should be some that are available just for loan and, you know, just to try it out. I'm not sure if that's part of the set of questions that you would have, but it's, you know, that's something to consider, I think.
Molly,
Wasn't the shed being used to supply equipment?
What? Say it again.
Was the shed that they built out there, I thought was going to supply some equipment?
That is a question we will ask. What is going in the shed? I don't want to say anything because we don't really have an official, you know, announcement or anything like that. But I think it would be neat for the two commissions to have a conversation at least, because people will be asking you guys, they'll be asking the staff, and if they're having classes out there, to know the schedule. I think it will be important.
Question, Emily. Has anyone reached out to any of the surrounding towns who have established pickleball programs in place? I know like the town of Fairhaven has had one for years. Has anyone reached out? I'd volunteer to do it, to reach out to these towns to see if we can get their rules, regulations, whatever they happen to have in place. Has anyone done that?
I believe they have. I believe the commission members have done their homework, and they're avid pickleball players themselves. So we can ask. They have a flyer posted in the lobby here, but it would be nice to know to have two things: learning opportunities for new players, and then the schedule of when senior play will take place. And if there's any fees, probably not in the beginning.
Do they have any plan established for ladies' rooms and men's room use also? Because I can see that being something that if you've got a lot of people who are playing out there, that there's going to need to be access to the men's room and ladies' room. And will the building be open extended hours for that? And if so, who will be supervising it?
So during normal senior center business hours, they'll be using our bathrooms. But we will ask, what about after hours? That's a great question.
So Emily, is it still under the control of the Recreation Commission?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I believe it will stay that way.
Oh,
Yep,
it will. Okay.
pretty sure. I think the once they hire the new superintendent for rec, they'll be overseeing that. And I believe that, the last piece is transportation. So our department transportation, I don't know if you've noticed, but we haven't had a van for 3.5 weeks. Our van had some malfunction with some, the wiring. So it's been at the shop, but we've been working with BAT to try to meet the needs of the community. And Scott Kirkland, our van driver, has been doing awesome. You know, he's been bringing people one-on-one with his vehicle and to doctor's appointments or to Market Basket. But hopefully we'll have our van back this week. But it is a lifeline to get people to food, to grocery shopping. Yeah. So just an FYI, if you hear anybody asking or even saying anything about when's it coming back, stay tuned. They had to order some parts and hopefully those parts will go in this week.
Just want to sit there and crack up laughing. Emily, every time you talk, my parakeets talk. Every time you stop talking, they stop. They like your voice.
We need some animals around here. Oh, hi guys.
Nice.
Cute.
Emily, were you all set with the report?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, great. Did anyone have, before we come up with the next date, does anyone have any questions or anything they would like to bring up?
I was wondering how the bistro meal went last week.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good.
A good feedback.
125 gone. We still have some salad left over, but no complaints. Very good, kind remarks from people.
Oh, that was what I was wondering. Yeah. I thought it tasted good.
Oh, it was excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The salad was done beautifully.
Mm.
I mean, that salad was fresh from somewhere. I don't know where it gets its food, but those greens are very fresh.
Robin, where did it come from?
From
Rodney's.
Rodney's. I want to call him Rogers. Rodney's in Halifax.
Halifax.
Yeah.
That's a small place right near the fire department, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's basically a caterer. You go in to, takeout meals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Does anyone else have anything they would like to bring up? Okay. It looks like the next meeting is March 14th at 2 p.m. Okay, and if no one has anything further, would we move to adjourn?
Is there anyone who will be interested in joining the Rec Commission meeting so I could forward you the Zoom link?
I'll be there.
I would, Emily.
Okay, I'll send it to everybody, and if you're available, that would be great.
Good.
Hey, Emily. Emily,
Yeah.
I got a question. Who's retiring? Is Charlie Simon's retiring?
Yes. Oops, sorry.
more than 30 years, I think.
Wow.
Yes,
I mean, he's
yeah.
done quite a bit. He's done quite a bit.
Is Gina Guasconi still on it?
She's on the Rec Commission, yes.
Yeah.
Should we do anything for Charlie, Nick? Should we give him an award or something?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, when between the golf course and he's had the Council of Aging down there before, and I don't know, I think he's helped out the council quite a bit, on behind the scenes.
Maybe we can give him a token of appreciation somehow. Something. He has done a lot. Yeah, whether it be lending us a golf cart for concerts, getting people up Wally Kruger who couldn't walk that far, to moving stuff, picking up trash, whatever. Yeah, he's a good person.
I think that's everything. Who would like to move to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Gloria. And who would like to
Welcome.
second?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a great day and take care. Thank you.
Here, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.